it's probably at least 3 weeks in now since the tadpoles hatched from their frog spawn. They are very fat. And every time I see a mosquito now outside, I'm just like, yes, go land on the pond. Then the tadpoles can eat your mosquito larvae, and then there won't be mosquitoes. So it's great because they're cleaning up the garden, right? Everyone in the garden's working together. It's like my slow worms, right? I've got slow worms, which are snakes, but they're called, don't worry, it's England. They're a beautiful little garden snake, and we have grass snakes as well. So the grass snakes and the slow worms are really good friends to have in the garden too, because they're completely benign. They're so safe. They're so gentle, timid, lovely, but they'll eat up your slugs and nasty bits. So they're doing really well. And then the hedgehog comes and goes as well. So got the wildlife cam set up for the hedgehogs to watch them march in and out the garden, and they chomp down on the slugs big time. They literally bite into them like a great big peanut butter jelly sandwich, and it's like slug oozes out the side. It's
oh my gosh. Okay.
Is that too much information?
It's a little bit too much. Let's stick with the pleasantries. Actually, along that line, you had a pretty scary situation this weekend.
Yeah, it was a crazy thing. Yeah.
I think it's worth sharing kind of publicly so people can hear about this, because it could save a life or multiple lives for people listening. Because the reality is, you never know when some kind of disaster or first aid emergency is going to happen. And if I was in the position you were in this weekend, I wouldn't have known what to do. And I'm guessing that a lot of other people wouldn't have known what to do. So can you kind of share about what happened this weekend? And for everyone listening, it has a good ending, but
yeah, let's preface with that is there's a happy end. But no, it was very frightening. So I've got two cats. They're twins. They're identical twins, except for the fact that one's a boy and one's a girl. I don't know quite how that works in cats, because normally, anyway, that's beside the point. Pippin is from Lord of the Rings. Pippin, because they're really naughty. Brother and sister. Pippin's the big brother, and Merry is the little sister, and she's really little. And she was out in the garden playing when a lives down the road, who's lovely, but clearly has some territorial issues, decided to attack Merry. And so she was just, done. But her big brother was in the conservatory, and he saw what was going on. He came shooting out of the back door and flung himself on top of Marmaduke. Marmaduke was the bully in the scenario here. Flung himself on Marmaduke, got Miss Merry escaped. So she went into the house, and then the two of them were at it like hammer and tongs. So, it's never nice seeing your animals fighting, but we have to sort of give Pippin a medal for bravery for coming in and sticking up for his little sister. But he got nailed. Like, something happened to him, and he came into the house pouring blood, like a lot of blood. And obviously we tried to stop the cat fight and broke them up, which is how I got them separated, and Marmaduke ran off, and then Pippin went in the house, but the blood was coming out. And like literally as he's running, because you think about when you're running how much your blood is pumping and your adrenaline's doing this. So it wasn't an arterial bleed, so there wasn't that spurting thing of blood, thank God for that. But it was not like, one drip and another drip. It was really, and I was like, okay, wow, first aid immediately. So I first had to catch up Pippin, because of course a cat, as soon as they're injured, any animal, as soon as they're injured, wants to retreat, wants to go hide somewhere and literally lick their wounds, right? But if there's blood loss at this rate, we don't have time to allow that to happen, because it's just a danger zone. So must catch, so manage to, you got to use you got to change all your demeanor from stress. You got to bring it right down and go calmly. Okay, it's okay, baby, come here. Let's have a look at you. Let's make sure you're. And then when you get it, then it's like, and I just had the pressure on where I thought the wound was, where I could see the blood coming from, but you can't see actually what the wound is because they're covered in blood and covered in fur, and you got no idea. So it was lucky there was two of us there. So my best friend is there, and I said, right, we need to get a big gauze, a big pad, a big bandage, get a tea towel, get anything. We need to put pressure on that wound. We need to staunch that flow and put that on. And then once I was there holding him with that, then I had to make sure my breathing was calm, because he's now listening to my heartbeat. I'm now holding him right here to restrict his movement, so he can't run around the house and keep losing the blood. But he's got to be listening to a heart that's calm, because otherwise it's going to keep him G'd up, right? So calm heartbeat from me. And then, of course, anyone else that might be in the room may be in shock as well, because this is a pretty emotional thing, seeing that happen if you don't know what to do. So, okay, right, I'm holding him. I've got the pad there, and it's like, right, we need the bandage. You'll find the bandage in the first aid kit, which is up there. Go, and you have to give people instructions in short sentences. Go upstairs, find the yellow box. It's under the desk. Get me a bandage. And come back into the room quietly, because people are like, yeah, run, and then jazzes up the animal again. So step by step. And so we put the bandage on, and then put the vet wrap on over the top of that to make sure that, he couldn't wriggle out of that. And so now we've got a nice firm bandage and pressure on that wound. So at that point, at least now the first aid bit is there. Now we've got to go find medical help. So you've got to ring up and go to an animal hospital, go to the vet, get in there and make sure that they can see you. And so Elle was driving, and I sat in the back with Pepin in his box, so he couldn't run around the car. Again, keeping that calm demeanor. Lie down, relax, put some slow music on to help calm his heartbeat and things like that. I've got Music for Cats, which is an album by David Tye, who's a classical musician who literally composed music that sinks into what a cat's hearing range is, what their breathing rate is, what their purring sounds like. And so it's music literally for cats, and they accelerate their healing when they listen to that. They've done studies and tests on to see. Anyway, so that's beside the point, but it's really cool because it just shows you there are so many things you can do to help in that situation. But then I was doing zoopharmacology work with him in the back with calming oils. I had on standby my rehydration solutions and syringe to do a subcutaneous injection to rehydrate if I saw him lose, because blood loss means fluid loss, right? And so you can go into shock, and dehydration in shock is a really significant thing. So on the way, I'm also checking what's the color of his gums. What are his eyes doing? How big or small are they? It's giving me an indication of the level of pain that he's going. Is he able to stand? Is he eating? Is he talking? Is he drinking? Is he doing all the things? So being able to monitor and know what those signs mean. Once you get to the vet, you can give a very comprehensive assessment of what's gone on, because they haven't seen any of this. And depending on the emergency, they've only got a limited time to work on to get the information before decisions have to be being made. So fortunately, in the case of Pippin, it wasn't a tear, like a ragged open wound. It hadn't punctured the lungs. It hadn't punctured the heart. But these were the things that I was very concerned about, because the sheer amount of blood loss and how bright red it was clearly oxygenated blood. So that could have been any of that. And it was right up high on his chest. So it could have been any of those things. Fortunately, it wasn't, and the wound was cleaned. And when we got home, I put green clay on it to help draw out any of the other toxins that may be in, because of course a cat's teeth and mouth aren't going to be hygienic things to stick into a body. So the green clay could draw out those toxins. His wound is beautifully clean. There's no swelling. There's no pus. There's no funny smell. So he's healing really nicely. And of course, I'm working with birch and wintergreen essential oils to help with the pain, because of course there is swelling and bruising from being in the attack. But yeah, I was just really pleased with two things. That there were two people in the room, because it's impossible to hold a cat and staunch a blood flow and keep them from wriggling and getting away, while you also go and get the toolbox of the first aid kit, open it up, unwrap a bandage, put a bandage on with one hand, hold it. Like, you can't do it. You need to have two people in the room. And to know that I had all of that stuff in the next room, knew what to do with it, and all the things that I could look for along the way in terms of those signs, and then extra things to help with the process so that the catastrophe gets as small as possible. And then your obviously survival increases dramatically as well.
Well, you said a couple really important aspects. I mean, first of all, like, so glad and so relieved that everyone is okay. And you said that Marmaduke, the cat who attacked him, is okay too. So everyone's okay here. Yeah. So good news. But truly, it's thanks to you and your knowledge and your ability to execute under pressure. And that takes a certain amount of confidence. And I don't mean confidence like cocky confidence. I mean like confidence in that you're very well versed in how to use first aid and what to do. Because if you don't really know that and you just kind of have a general idea, you're going to get in that situation and you're going to panic because it's not just like automatic. And one thing I don't think you mentioned, but you told me before we started recording, is the vet was 45 minutes away. So if you hadn't known how to apply these principles, this story could have a very different ending. And, you know, the kind of flip side, you said, you know, he didn't have any, you know, there was no punctured lung or anything. It could have very easily gone another way. And again, this would have been extremely imperative. But you said a couple things earlier, which is, one, it's a good thing you had the kit, but two, it's a good thing you knew how to use it. And, you know, thinking about, of course, I'm selfishly like putting myself in this situation, like, oh my God, would I have known what to do? And the answer is no. Like, do I have a basic knowledge of first aid? Sure, I'm certified in humans, whatever, but not to that extent. I wouldn't know how to stop. I wouldn't be knowing what to be thinking about when it comes to a cat's anatomy and, you know, how it's different from the human body. And like, I wouldn't have, and again, that the stress of that happening, I don't think I would have been calm enough. And secondary to that, I have some basic first aid stuff on hand for the pets, for the kids. But I don't have like a full blown kit put together that I could just grab and go, you know, in the car on the way to the vet. So, you know, as we were thinking about this, it made me feel like maybe this is something we should talk about more. And maybe this is a workshop. So for folks listening, is this something that you'd be interested in hearing more about and doing a full on workshop about pet first aid? And Penny, we would love to see your whole kit that you have, what tools you have. And I'm sure a lot of this stuff is stuff you can get online. Oh, someone just commented, said, yes, please. Someone else said highly necessary. Yeah, absolutely. I'm raising my hand saying yes, please also. So showing us what's in the kit. If you have like brands and things that you like that you can point us to, even better. And again,
I mean, the kit is literally still on the floor, right? Like literally, like it's still here and open from the other day. Like there's the animal rescue sticker, so I know that this is the first aid box as opposed to any other toolbox in the house, right? But it's, you know, it's not a small kit. And then I've got the other stuff behind me as well, which is the actual oils and flower remedies and all the rest. So you can create stuff at home. Like I created this. I couldn't find a comprehensive pet one that I approved of that covered everything that I needed. So I just built my own. But if people want to hear what I've got and why I have those things and how to use them, you know, I did wildlife first aid back in Australia with bushfire victims and other rescues, you know, side of the road. A lot of the kangaroos will have babies still in their joeys in their pouches. You can certainly rescue them, even if the parents have died. So, you know, having first aid skills is very transferable. I recommend people do it.
Yeah, someone mentioned it's highly necessary, especially with so many vets not seeing after-hour emergencies. That's so true. A lot of vets have times, right? Time frames that they're available to bring in emergencies, but emergencies can obviously happen at any time of day. And what I really yeah, right. And what's also really interesting about the kit that you're talking about that you have is it's not just like, you know, your bandages and your, you know, foundational stuff, but you're also talking about like essential oils and, you know, waters and things like that are really can help to calm, can help to reduce pain, that play these other roles besides just, okay, stop the bleeding right now. rehydrate. So it's kind of all aspects. Like, it's pretty holistic in that sense, meaning like from so many different perspectives and modalities of healing and life-saving strategies. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do a workshop.
Okay.
So we'll not to just like volunteer you, Penny, but like I'm gonna put you on the spot and we're gonna do this for us. All right, so guys, we will share information with you on when this is gonna come together, maybe around the end of the month, and we'll share with you more details and sign up links and all of that. But what's the takeaway here? I think the takeaway is we have to be prepared. We talk about being prepared and using preventative strategies. We talk about using preventative strategies when it comes to, the 7 pillars and lifestyle. But I would also consider this kind of a preventative strategy in a way, because you're preventing potential severe consequences. And so it kind of goes hand in hand.
I mean, it's part, in my opinion, it's part of being like a responsible pet parent, because if it was a 2-legged child that you were talking about, you would have some stuff around. You would know some things that you needed to do. You would have like a hospital that you would need to go to. Like, you would have that set up. So why don't we have that as a standard? I don't know. Protocol, whatever, for our fur kids. We really should, because they get into scrapes and dangers and accidents just as much as 2-legged kids do. And so knowing what to do and having the stuff on hand, and then knowing where to get further help, is 3 parts to the same equation, but it literally can be life-saving.
Yeah. And it absolutely was.
Yeah, I think. Tell us, like, I'd be super curious, guys, to hear what you think about that. I mean, this is a true story. I haven't just made this up. I'm still washing blood out of the furniture downstairs, right? It really went everywhere. And Pippin's doing great, I'm really pleased to say. And he's probably going to get a medal for defending his sister from because God knows what would have happened to her, because she's tiny and she doesn't fight back. So that could have been really bad. But anyway, the good news is they're both fine. But if I didn't have that kit, it would have been a tea towel, because you just find something, like you just do something. But then how long can you hold a cat with a tea towel getting soaked through with blood? Like, I mean, can you drive at the same time? Like, you've got to have a plan in place, or at least something that you want to do, because otherwise you just sit there and you go into panic. And I've seen it happen, and it happened with my best friend. He started to go into panic, and his hands were like this, right? Because blood's a scary thing, right? But if you can't do the thing, you need someone who can. And if you don't have a clue, then you go that way. And if you do have a clue, you stay calm, right? Because I don't like seeing my baby bleeding, right? Any more than any of you want to see your baby bleeding. But knowing that I knew what to do meant that I could control myself and say, if my heartbeat isn't calm, I'm not looking after him. So it forces you to be the better person. It forces you to be able to deliver, because you're giving out and you know what to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's making sense, but I'm just kind of just riffing now, because it's real.
It's a lot to process too. Like, that was pretty traumatic what you experienced. Yeah, let us know, for folks tuning in, let us know if this is something you're interested in, if you would like to do a workshop on pet first aid, see Penny's first aid kit, and maybe we can even do, again, some kind of basic instructions on how to use it, general tips and strategies, just a really solid foundation. So let us know if that's something you're interested in. I definitely am. Sounds like some people commenting on Facebook are also interested as well. So, all right. We will be, on that note, let's just take a deep breath again. Had a happy ending.
I know you're making it. I'm feeling a bit emotional.
Yeah. Well, on that note, you need to do some emotional recovery. But we will be coming back tomorrow for another live, same time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. In the meantime, leave us a comment on Facebook, YouTube. Let us know your thoughts on this. And we'll chat more tomorrow, along with other things. Not sure what that's going to be yet, but we'll see what's on our minds. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us live. We appreciate you, and we're happy to share this time and space with you. So thanks for tuning in. Until tomorrow.
See you guys. Bye.